morning.
Good morning.
Well, you can see it's not just
Buenos
Sarah and I
dias.
today. We have guests with us, and we want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. So I'll start. I'm Olivia. I'm one of the regular faces on the MixTape and an East Side driver of the Parent Trip.
I'm Sarah. I'm your other regular. You're used to me. And I'm also an East Side driver.
I'm Marnelli. I am a co-driver for the Parent Trip West event.
And I'm Allie Buchanan, irregular one here. No, I'm just joking. I am also the co-driver for the West Side, helping these wonderful ladies and working side by side with Marnelli. So I'm excited to be here. Hi, everybody.
So today's episode of the MixTape is going to be all about our Parent Trip event happening in April. It's happening April 17th and 18th. And that's why we've invited these lovely ladies. There we go. Boop, boop. To join us. But before we jump into it, we just want to say, if you are a fan of the MixTape, if you log in and you're like, oh, wait, I missed this. When did this one come out? Please like and subscribe. You can hit the little bell at the bottom so that you know when we release a new episode. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get all sorts of good information.
Yep. And one more reminder, we would talk about it every time, but we have a Patreon. And the whole point is that the MixTape, the Parent Trip, all of it is free content all the time. We like to give stuff away like it's the opposite of, it's extra free.
Of capitalism. It's the opposite of capitalism.
And Patreon is just one way that y'all can help us keep it going for a long time.
Okay, let's talk about our event. So our next event is happening April 17th and 18th. The East Side is Saturday, April 17th. The West Side is April 18th. And if someone has never been to the Parent Trip before, if somebody has no idea what we're talking about, how would you guys describe our event?
Oh, who's going to go?
Well, I'll say, for Portland, it is, kind of split by the river. So that's why we have two events, right? There's the East Side. So you're looking at Clackamas, Gresham, Mount Hood area. And what part of like downtown Portland would you say is the separator?
Like inner east. And then we've got the river that runs between the two sides. And then we've got the west, which includes
Beaverton. I'm in Tigard. Marnelli's in Beaverton. Kind of like the zoo area. Even like Wilsonville, Sherwood, Hillsborough. We really wanted to showcase kind of everybody in Portland, but it's a lot of people. It's a big area. So that's why we split it to 2 days, where Saturday is the East Side and Sunday is the West Side. So geographically, that's how you can think about the event.
Great. Yeah, I think that it's pretty easy to think like, oh, it's like Portland's not that big. You should be able to just do one big event. But the truth is it kind of spreads out. And especially when you take traffic into account, like it can take a while to get from where I am on the East Side to where Marnelli is in Beaverton. Mm-hmm. And so it really, when you have a new baby, especially if they don't like the car, like it really matters having a provider who's close to you.
And I think even before you have a baby, Portlanders are very unwilling to cross the river. And I know that sounds super silly, but it's really true. Like I live on the East Side and I don't know that I would see a chiropractor on the West Side. If I'm doing my self-care and it means that I have to drive across the river, that's just another barrier for me. And the Parent Trip is all about taking down those barriers. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why we have the two events.
Yeah. And I would think that sometimes the West also is divided by the tunnel. Like, I don't want to go through that tunnel. I just don't want to go through the tunnel. But what I really appreciate about the Parent Trip is that, like everyone has mentioned, this gives you access to information and people that you might not otherwise utilize in support of your parenting journey. So why not? Why not give this information out?
Yeah. So
we were probably about to say the same exact thing. Go, Sarah, go.
Okay. So now you know that we've split it into 2 events, but what is it, right? So it's this place where you can come and get information about dozens, like literally dozens of different types of providers that can help guide you in your parenting journey. And it's not a competitive zone. So it's not like we're sending you 2 midwives or 2 lactation consultants to like duke it out for your attention. It's a lot about education and how that can benefit you.
Exactly.
I think so. The model of the day in this virtual format, in an in-person format, it's like a big, lovely room filled with oxytocin and like good vibes and food and music and huge giveaway baskets that you just like kind of drool over. But in its virtual format, it's one day where you log in, you get your link, you can watch on YouTube or on Facebook. And on Saturday, Sarah and I will be kind of your MCs leading you through the day. And on Sunday, you'll have Marnelli and Allie. And we take you through providers talking about why you want to consider their services. We take you through giving away great, awesome baskets. We have like cute little videos. We're sometimes funny. And it's just, I think the thing that I love about the virtual event is that families really can like stick it on an iPad and put it in the kitchen while they're making lunch for their kids. Or, you know, have it on their phone in the parking lot while they're waiting for their Instacart delivery to come out to their car. Like it's super portable, super accessible. You can pop in and out all day. And it's just kind of continuous free information.
Yeah. And they get the opportunity to answer questions or ask questions live. So whether they watch it on Facebook, whether they're watching it through YouTube, we see the questions, we can bring them up to the providers and really answer those questions in real time versus we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Like the provider can give it to you straight in that moment.
Or having to wait for an appointment or like you're on hold. And no, it's direct to the source. Love it. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that that's the big thing is the like time saver for families is not having to make 13 first appointments just to ask a question that is going to help you narrow down if you want this care. And if you do, who do you want? So I think that that's like so valuable.
Yeah. And I think it opens the book of resources to people because many times people look at what does my insurance provide or what does my insurance cover? And sometimes if you dig a little deeper and you talk about those, the different modalities of support, even if they aren't within your network and you maybe have to do like a cash pay, if you look at how the dollars and cents do play out, it's actually sometimes cheaper.
Yeah. And I think that the great thing about the parent trip kind of as your first step, if you're exploring that, if you're like, okay, I'm 4 months pregnant. I thought this nausea was going to end. It hasn't. It's really affecting my day-to-day life. I talked to my provider and my provider says, I can prescribe you Zofran. That's pretty much what I got. And you're like, I don't know what my next step is. Come to the parent trip. And you'll find that like maybe working with a naturopathic doctor is the right choice for you for an appointment or 2 just to get this under control. Or maybe you were considering chiropractic and you're like, oh, wait, chiropractic won't affect my nausea, but acupuncture will. And finding all of this information so that when you do make that first appointment, when you do spend that money, you're doing it with knowledge and you're doing it intentionally and you're able to really know that you're like getting to the root of something and you're not wasting your time or your money on trying to find out which way to go.
Where do I get the 100% sign?
Yeah.
And I will say, like, if you've gotten this far and you're like, wow, this sounds really cool, but I don't live in the Portland area. That's one of the benefits to this virtual medium that the pandemic sort of forced us into. But I think we really value now is that we've had folks from New York and Louisiana and Florida and who knows where else who have tuned in and said like, oh, chiropractic care. I hadn't even thought about that. Or like last time, I think one of the people that blew my mind was physical therapy while you were pregnant. That had never occurred to me. And I've had 3 kids. So thank you, Marnelli and Allie, for bringing PT to the pregnancy category. And if it's something that just like never occurred to you and now you know about it, now you can seek that out in your area. So even if it doesn't mean you're going to see our providers, there's still lots of really amazing education to help you figure out what's going to make your body feel amazing and your relationship with your kids and your partner amazing.
Totally. Intelligent, in Google searches, right? Like now I know that I want a chiropractor who specializes in the Webster's technique. I didn't know what that was, but now I can find it easier, better in, Alabama than I could before. So,
yeah. And what I also like about it is many of our providers also have made that shift, that pivot in how they present their information on a social media platform. So they can continue to get free content and information from many of our providers that have pretty active social media accounts. Case in point, physical therapy for pregnancy. I mean, Dr. Meredith is just all over the place talking about physical therapy, just pregnancy health, postpartum health. And I know that many of the clients that I've worked with that have then gone on to see Dr. Meredith have been like, wow, what a wealth of knowledge. And I got so much information, and I really got to know her and like her before I even were face to face.
Right. Valuable presence online, valuable in people in your feed, What I thought of when you were talking about the being able to access our providers from anywhere in the world is I thought about Danielle with Ready, Set, Grow, who's offering all of these amazing virtual classes from teachers all over the country for pregnant and postpartum bodies to, stretch and move and heal and work on their strength. And that's just like, you can live anywhere in the world and access that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And same thing with Music Together, who's now Music Together Resonate, when she's working with, kind of that beyond category, when you're looking at children in toddler stage or older, and whenever I see her, I like smile when I see her in my feed. She's so happy, like seeing music, seeing kids dancing. And with some of the things going on right now in the world, it's just nice to have somebody that like gives you a little bit of happiness in your feed, because sometimes we're just scrolling for hours, right? So really getting that information, and just, it's a fun resource for your kids, but then you also, music is just a wonderful medium to make you feel happy. So I love it. Yes. Great providers, great everything. Sign up, follow us. You'll love it.
So since we're already talking about providers, let's jump into, I have a question for Marnelli and Allie and a question for me and Sarah, which is, do us two have anyone new to the Parent Trip for this April event who we're really excited about hearing from?
Yeah. Marnelli, the Russian roulette chose you.
Okay, so new to us here on the West Side is Tiffany with Birthing Stone Doula. And she is going to be coming and talking all about her newborn and infant sleep support and the doulas that she works with specifically for sleep, and and how so much of I did the alphabet game with her in our Instagrams, and I really appreciated some of the words that she used. So she did P for pause. I think I use pause all the time now with everybody. Let's just take a pause. Mm-hmm. Let's figure this out. We don't have to make an answer or make a choice right now. So how she uses that word in sleep training or creating healthy sleep habits for your babies is wait. You hear them wrestle, but pause. Maybe they're just switching into the next sleep cycle. Maybe they are just, doing what newborns do and going, wait, pause. So I really like that about what Tiffany is going to be bringing to the Parent Trip West.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's rad. Sarah, do you want to take this one for us?
Sure. I don't know if I have the same one as you, but I'm really excited to listen to Jen Berryman. She's going to be our birth photographer. And I've been eyeballing her work for a long time. And she also just became an IBCLC, and she's a doula. Like, she's someone I think that would be great to have in the room while you're birthing and then capturing those moments. So I'm pretty excited to hear what she has to say.
Yeah, Totally. I think knowing Jen personally too, with her background in being a labor and delivery nurse before she even jumped into doula work and birth photography and eventually becoming a lactation consultant, she has this really incredible ability that I, as a doula, do not possess, which is to like fade away and then come back as you need her, right? So she really, as a birth photographer, has the ability to like make you forget that she's even there and just make you feel really comfortable in your space doing what you need to do to have this baby. And then if you need her, all of a sudden it's like she materializes and you're like, where did Jen come from? Oh, she's been here the whole time. This is not a skill I possess, but I love it about her.
You don't just morph into the wall.
I'm a little big and a little loud for that. It's hard for me to disappear. So I don't really try.
Is there anybody
You
else
lean
you're
into
excited
it.
about?
You lean into it.
What, somebody asked a question.
Oh, I said, is there anybody else you're excited about?
Anybody else new to the East Side?
Oh, actually, I'm stealing it back. We have a new childcare provider spot happening on the East Side this time. We have a co-op preschool a teacher who's gonna present. Her name is Allison. My two older kids went to this co-op. And a lot of times we've focused at the parent trip kind of on that like immediate childcare situation for like your baby, like nannies or daycares, that kind of thing. So I think it'll be really fun to have a little more beyond kind of focus on it.
I am a subscriber to co-op preschools. My kids this will be the last year that I am in a co-op preschool, and I will say that those are my people. That's my community. I can lean on them for any type of support. Today, my daughter found an 8-inch salamander out in our property, and brought it in, was telling me all about it, and then I like recorded her. I'm like, tell me about your salamander. And she's like, I found this salamander. It's 8 inches. Show it to the mom group. And so then I sent it to my preschool moms group, and it was all so affirming. Like, great job, Kennedy. Can't believe you had all of that, just that you can find it. When can we come see salamanders and catch salamanders on our own? So if you are looking for community when you have toddlers, a co-op is one way to find it.
Yeah, I didn't have mom friends until the co-op. Like, we had kids kind of in between, like people that either had kids younger or they were waiting till they were older, so we didn't have any parent friends. And then I kind of got sucked into this co-op. And I will say it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely get what you put into it. I'm curious, Marna, like, so most co-ops, you have like a family job. What kind of family job do you do?
Okay. First year, I was the parent coordinator. So I had to coordinate everybody's volunteer time in the classroom. Second, third, and fourth year, I was the co-president. And then my last year, I've been doing fundraising. So it's a lot of work. It's not, if you want to be involved and take an active role in your child's early education, co-op is one way to do that. And most co-ops, at least here in the Portland metro area, are also nonprofits. So while they do follow, specifically in this pandemic time period, they do follow some of the recommendations and guidelines, but many of them didn't close. They just pivoted and modified and had outdoor school and reduced their classroom sizes because those families knew that and valued that environment for their kids. So,
and that was a choice the families got to make, right? Because that's the point of a co-op, is to
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also kind of a certain subset of parents, because co-op preschools tend to be like a morning or an afternoon or that kind of thing. It's not really like a daycare. So normally there's a parent who's available to be a part of that. So it's not like this was childcare that was shut down that people needed to go back to work kind of thing.
And what's really interesting is they're not all over the country, right? Not everywhere has them. But the beautiful thing about it is that if you have another mom friend from church or another organization, you can easily form your own co-op. So you can have that experience where you are. If there's nothing formalized, go ahead and bring some families together and talk about how to make early childhood education fun and functional for you.
Yeah. And here in Portland and in the Northwest, and I believe in California, that kind of overseer is an organization called Parent Cooperative Preschools Organization, PCPO.
I can never remember what it stands for.
Yeah. And you can email them and they can give you all of the information you want on how to run your co-op, how to hire your teacher, how to fundraise, how to
structure curriculum and
right.
Yep.
It's really wonderful. And, it's a really great resource. I mean, I used it all the time working or being with the co-op. What does people
tell you guys that as the only non-parent on this screen right now, this conversation is making me really excited to hear from Allison at the parent trip, because there's so much that I don't know, as a non-parent, I feel like, or as someone who's expecting to go into parenthood, like if someone came to our event as a pregnant person, didn't know any of these things, doesn't have mom friends to ask, it's good to know there are other options than like I have a nanny in home or I have daycare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm realizing from this conversation that we have a whole other mixtape episode to film, because I totally have like offshoot topics that are in my brain right now. And I know that our focus is really about this parent trip event. Where you can get information about
a panel. Maybe we'll do a panel on childcare.
Beyond. Yeah.
I love it.
Because we are actually somebody new that is presenting this time is Ren, right? So that would for West Side. So that's somebody we can definitely plug into that panel. I love it. See, I love when that happens. Just that organic flow of ideas. It's wonderful.
Right. What do we want to talk about? What are we excited about? And I think, honestly, to bring it back to the parent trip, that was kind of the goal from the beginning, is to foster like genuine connection and conversation. Like, what is the thing that is interesting to you? What is the thing that you could kind of nerd out about for a little while? Is it community preschools? Is it like helping deal with sciatic pain during pregnancy? Is it like birthing positions? Like, we want to give you the people who will nerd out about that with you. We want to have those conversations with you. And we want to, when we first started, Sarah and I's tagline was like connection, conversation, community. And we just kept on saying it over and over to each other, because connection leads to genuine conversation, and genuine conversation builds community. So.
And out of the December event, we had a wonderful, wonderful discussion, and we came out of it with a postpartum panel that happened in February. And that was so amazing. And so now, we have a potential with the Beyond. So I love it. We're just continuing to build that content and to support and educate parents in Portland, in Oregon, across the country. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I would say if you are currently pregnant or postpartum in this pandemic that is still going on, it was a really moving experience to watch these providers who specialize in postpartum. We also pulled together a bunch of videos from local parents who had babies last year in 2020. And I think it can just be really nice to not feel alone and to get a little insight on how to take care of yourself right now. That's on our YouTube.
And it felt really good, I think, to have providers not only acknowledge here are the ways we have as professionals to recommend to try and make your life easier, but also to acknowledge this is insane. Like, you are living through an experience that no one else has lived through. So when the lady down your street starts to shame you about the fact that your baby isn't sleeping through the night yet, just shut that down, because they have not lived the experience you are living.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it normalizes, I think, the parent trip, because of these discussions, normalizes a lot of things that people didn't know were available. And, you know, especially in postpartum, the isolation of postpartum and what that feels like. It brings to light things that people need to be prepared for. I am very much of a proponent of you got to be prepared for anything. So, what does that look like to you? Does it mean you have all of these people lined up so then you know who to call? Does it mean you have one person that's going to help facilitate all of that for you? Does it mean you're going to go read all the books and watch all the videos and do all of those things? Yes, it does.
Okay. I think probably maybe our last question, but I'm just curious from everybody, like, what is your favorite part of the parent trip? Like, if you had an elevator ride with somebody to convince them, like, hey, I think you should log into this thing. I've got the link. I'm sending it to your phone. This is why you should come. What would you say?
Well, last time we did this, it was the baskets. So I think that's still my number one. But my number two, our t-shirts coming.
It's true. Thank you for bringing it up, Allie. Yes, I forgot that we were going to be talking about this. So we've been secretly whispering between ourselves and designing, and we have some really exciting parent trip merch coming. It's going to be officially announced on Friday. You are able to watch this as of Wednesday, so you've got the sneak peek.
I'm going to slip some photos in even.
Right here. And here. And here. There you go. There's your pause to put them in.
I have been bugging Olivia about merch for
2 years.
A long time. Really? At the very beginning? I didn't. Not at the very beginning.
I think so. I think it was literally like the first thing that you wanted to bug me about was we need to do it again. The original event of this was like, we're doing a one-off thing. We're just having it at Tabor Space. It's just going to be one afternoon. Come and hang out. And like, as soon as the event started, people started asking me, when are you guys doing this again? And the way I like to talk about that day back in April 2019 is that I was blackout. I was like not laying permanent memories, and I was just living moment to moment. I was in my labor brain. And so people were like, when are you doing this again? And I was like, and walked away. And as soon as the event was over, Sarah and I went and got a drink with some of the providers. And Sarah was like, so when are we doing this again? And I was like,
well, when am I getting a t-shirt? Is what she was really saying.
And then that was the next thing is I want a t-shirt. So it's here. It's happening. It took 2 years to gestate, but we are making parent trip t-shirts and tote bags. This way.
That way.
So.
Oh man. Can you just imagine a little bag full of like produce? Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, or like throw all the sand toys for your beach trip with your kiddo in it.
In the van. Throw it in the van.
Yep. The parent trip, because parenting is a freaking trip.
It's a freaking trip. And we would like to help you navigate.
The thing that I would tell people if I had an elevator ride with them and I was able to just send them a link is the thing that I would say is like, is really one of the only opportunities that I know of to one-stop shop dozens of modalities. Mm-hmm. Like you give us an afternoon of your time and you're going to walk away knowing more about tens of more of care, right? Like we're talking about, we've got like 12, 19 providers, depending on like which one you're paying attention, which one you're watching. And like being able to like get that information, like boom, 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 learning about all of these different things you didn't know about. Like that's what I think is. I think it's good bang for your buck in terms of time. Like
and your book is zero.
Right. Your financial input is zero. I'm talking about your time.
Yes.
When it comes to financial input, like it's obviously a win. You can walk away with a basket that's worth $500 for having spent $0 invested in it. If I were your financial manager, I would say go to this event every single time it happens.
The fun thing about it too is because like we had an event in December, right? And we had some people that were pregnant then. And actually I reached out to the person who won our pregnancy basket and I was like, hey, you know, she's postpartum now. I was like, hey, we're having our event. You could win the postpartum basket. And like, you know, she might've just tuned in the morning for the pregnancy section and wasn't really paying attention to the postpartum. Now she can come back and see new information, new providers that now are on her radar that maybe she didn't realize before. But yeah, so it's like, even though, you know, whatever part of parenting you're in, we have something for you. And that's amazing. Love that.
And that's my elevator right there. It's like, and even if you're still pregnant, like if you're pregnant in December and you're pregnant now, or maybe you're still beyond, right? Like you're beyond for a while. I keep thinking like, oh, I don't need to listen to the chiropractor speak because I've heard it a few times now, but every single time I'm still learning things. You know, and sometimes they'll, you know, bring in what a different part of your life might look like with chiropractic or whatever the thing is. So I think that's one of the cool things about the parent trip is that the providers who keep coming back, like it's the same providers. It's not like we're bringing in somebody new with a whole new theory. Most of the time it's the same people coming back. But there's just always something more to learn and our bodies are so amazing. And just come hang out with us, make terrible jokes and give away baskets worth hundreds of dollars and learn something new.
Yeah. I can't think of it right now. I've just been very much enjoying everything that everybody else is saying. Like, yeah, yes.
If you were stuck in an elevator with Marnelli, she would just send you the link over and over again for the entire elevator ride.
I would. I'd be like, this here. I did think about that, the fact that resources wise, you get, so for example, fitness, we have 4 options. We have Ready, Set, Grow. We have Liz Winters. We have Fit for Mom. We have Mama Space Yoga. 4 different places that you can gain access to just from our event. And all of them are currently providing virtual classes.
And they're all so different. Like they offer so many different things, which is just like very exciting to me, especially as someone who's not a particularly like gung-ho fitness person, but like the amount of the connection to community or the type of class. Like, are you looking for a yoga flow? Are you looking for one of my favorite classes that Danielle's studio, Ready, Set, Grow offers is the like bounce class, which is like baby in a front pack and you on a yoga ball. And she just like takes you through. Oh my God, amazing. I want to take that class. I want to borrow somebody's baby and I want to take that class.
After 6 weeks.
Yes. I mean, I don't have to wait. I just need to snag a baby and then I can take it.
Exactly. Yes.
So they're all so different. Yeah, totally. I love that too, Marnelli.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's been one of the most fun things about bringing you, Marnelli, and Allie in as the drivers on the West Side is that, like, as much as we kind of expect people to attend the event that is their side of the river, you two have, you know, Olivia and I had a tendency to make it very like chiropractor here and there, naturopath here and there, labor doula here and there, whereas you guys have kind of branched out a little bit and done things we wouldn't necessarily have thought of. So honestly, you could attend the whole weekend and essentially get, I mean, it's probably 25 different types of information.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally.
And just in that point, if you don't have this event, that's a lot to try and think about. So to know that you have one spot, one-stop shop, we cover it for you. It's free. Free.
Yep. And here's our last plug that I'll say is that we're going live on Saturday with the East Side. We're going live on Sunday with the West Side. Both of these videos in their entirety, where you can watch it all at your leisure, are going to be up on YouTube for you to watch until Tuesday morning. That would be Tuesday the 20th. And then they move to our Patreon account, once you log into our Patreon account as a subscriber, that can be at $1 a month, really, really low. You can watch these at any time. So if you like really loved the event and you were like, I'm pregnant and I can't take in all this information about postpartum and beyond right now, I'm just focusing on pregnancy and birth, but I want to save this for later, join our Patreon. And once that baby comes, you can be up at 3 a.m. watching the Parent Trip with us while you breastfeed. So that's my plug for the Patreon and being able to access this material really at any time you want.
Yes. Again, where's my 100%?
I'm so excited. This is going to be so fun. I miss, it's nice to have a break, but I always miss the banter that we get to have over the weekend. And it's going to be so fun to bring in merch. And I'm just so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to hang out with you all day Saturday, Sarah. And then I'm excited to do my chores on Sunday and listen to you too, Marnelli and Allie. So I am a speaker. I'm also a listener. Very excited.
Hashtag doula.
Okay. Do we have anything else we need to say about the Parent Trip? I feel like we've made a good pitch.
Register. Make sure you register for the event. That will be live. Yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you don't have to register. But if you do, we send you the link in your inbox. So if you forgot and the email pops up, you're like, oh yeah, I was going to do that. And then you just click on it.
And then you don't have to go find it, right? Yeah. It's just right there. We'll send you the link for YouTube and for Facebook. So definitely you can register on our website. It's there are links everywhere. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it in our Instagram. So thank you for that reminder, Allie, to register. And the other thing I'll say is that this weekend on Friday, when we announce our new merch line, we're also going to be running a little giveaway. And if you register then this weekend, then you can be in to win one of our t-shirts. So check out our Instagram and our Facebook and make sure you participate in that giveaway and get yourself some swag for the Parent Trip.
Excellent. All right.
Adios, amigos.
Thanks, everybody.
On the Parent Trip.
Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Thanks for watching. If you liked our channel, please make sure that you hit the button at the bottom and subscribe so you don't miss any other videos we have coming up.
If you want to know the moment we post, hit that little bell.
Ding, ding. We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
At the Parent Trip PDX.
And we have a Patreon that we'd love you to check out.
Keeping our content free and accessible for all families is really important to us. So the Patreon is one way that you can help us keep creating content and doing this for a long time.
Thanks.